Alright guys, welcome back to part 2 of my efforts of trying to turn this old shopping gopher into a go-kart. Okay, let's go. If you watched the previous episode, we got the gopher cart all stripped down. We've got the front arms welded in. We got the camera put on, front wheels. We got the steering tie rods welded and extended. So those are on. And today, I guess, what I'm doing is hunting down a quad bike for, to repurpose as I need the rear axle and pretty much the motor and chain to fit into this go-kart build. So that's what I'm doing right now. We're out doing that and acquiring a quad bike. So let's just jump on Marketplace right now and see what they got for us. Let's go and check for some quads. Now I have been checking, like you can see, already got them up there. But the price range is above $200 and I don't really want to spend that much. So we're going to find something a bit cheaper. It doesn't really have to be running. I can possibly get that running again, Looking through here right now, this one's electric, this one's 70 cc's and quad. Just pop in there for a visit. 70 cc quad, just need to do wiring and pick up Quinns Rock. Okay, Quinns Rock is over 3 hours away from me, so we'll give that a, looks like I already have it in my saved anyway. Okay, all these quads are more than I'd actually want to pay for the parts that I actually need. So I think we're going to put a post up on our local buy and sell and see what happens there. Seeing as we do live in the country, it could be a better option. A lot of farms out here, so possibilities that there are a lot of quads just sitting in the shed. Could be to go. All right, let's get out of here. Alright, so this is the post I ended up coming up with. Well, as you can see, this is the post asking my local buy and sell to see if anyone has any quads that are, stacking up in their sheds that they don't want or would like to get rid of cheap. We do live in the country, so possibilities are pretty high for that option. So hopefully we can get some answers back quickly and see if we can get a quad or two to move on with this build as far as getting this go-kart up and running. Okie dokie, let's go. After the post went out for a request for quads that were possibly needing saving from sheds out here in the country, we actually got a fair few responses for that, so that was great because we were able to get ourselves a couple of little mini quads. So I'm kind of stacked with little quads right now, so that's awesome. Thanks to everyone that was that hit us up and replied to us and let us come around, check out everything that you had, and gave us what you wanted to give us. Thanks. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that so much. But here's one of the ones we have right now, so take a look. I still don't really know where I'm going with it, but this is where we are. Let's turn it around so we can all have a look. So this is where we are right now with it. We got a whole frame, got the front section, the suspension hooked up, the steering arms, steering tie rods. Mocked up some pedals. So this is where we go with some pedals. I'm going to put some extensions on here, obviously. But that goes around here somewhere. No, I think it's on the wrong side. It goes over there. So this is for this side. This one's for the other side. Alright, so yeah, there's going to be our pedals. So yeah. Also guys, just a little update on just me personally. You probably noticed in the early episode, I didn't really have a welding mask. Kind of had a homemade, made up one. It was made of just the clear safety goggles and some 5% tint on the lens. So yeah, I had to go out and get me a proper helmet. So this is my new helmet. Stoked as. Stoked with the helmet. Let's put it to some work. Okay, so that was it. I just wanted to mention that, guys. Let's get back into this thing. So I'm going to get to mounting the steering wheel solid so it's in place, and then I get to stripping this bike down so we can get that rear axle out and start fitting it to the rear. So that's pretty much where she's going to be. So let's chuck a couple of tacks there and there. Got the steering wheel tacked down now, so here we go. Okay, so they're all tacked in now. We can remove the magnet, and she's not going to move anymore. Awesome. So that's our permanent place for living. Alright, so I got the steering wheel in place now, and that's where we're going to have it. That's where it's going to stay. So now that we got that, I want to actually move on to stripping down this bike and getting the rear axle ready to be mounted into the rear of this somehow. But we will get it done. Alright, we got the quad here. It's time to strip it down, guys. It's time to pull everything off. Alright, where we go? Alright, so let's probably start with taking all these plastics off and see what we've got underneath. Pretty much, I probably don't even need to take the plastics off right now, as I only need the rear axle, so we could probably just unhook the chain, and then unbolt the rear axle from there. So that bolt and that bolt there, disconnect the brake line, disconnect the chain, and we should be able to pull it away. Alright, just gonna get a jack and some tools. Alright, so we got the plastic off. I'm going to take the main nut off for the fork there. What else? I'll take the nut off for the suspension. I'm just going to grind the chain off and get another one because that one's all rusted. Let's just replace it for now. Everything's there. That nut's out. Going to get this one out and then grind that off and then pull it out. Alright. Chop the chain. Actually, I'm holding that. Don't have to worry about that anymore. That chain's gone and it's off. Just bump that out now and see if we can get the fork out. Okay, brake line. Gotta disconnect that brake line. Alright, so got the pin knocked out. So that's free. The shockey's loose. We've got the brake line disconnected and bunged out for the moment, so she doesn't leak oil everywhere. What else? She's disconnected now, so I think we can just separate it from the go-kart. Like that. Well, she's separate. She only got caught on the chain, that's okay. Yeah, let me use my hands. Okay, now there's our axle for our go-kart. Well, let's mock it up to see where we can go with that. Alright, the sun's going down, so let's just speed this along. So I've got the rear axle actually off the quad bike now, and I've got it mocked up sitting underneath the frame. So we can take a quick look at that. So you see we got the rear axle in the rear. So we'll sit somewhere around there. We'll mount it there. Put a plate up the top and I'll mount the engine and brackets, some more brackets for the engine up there. Hopefully it's strong enough to hold, but we will find out. But looking at this, we're going to have to extend those, so we'll get to that in the future.
The next day.
Welcome back to today. Just looking at the car and what I have here right now. Directions, we got to mount this rear axle and then find a place for this engine and then get that mounted in place. So we've got that to look forward to today, and hopefully anything else that I can get done today while I have a few hours on my sleeves. So let's get back to this go-kart project. Alright, so this is what I have right now, and I want to get further. So We're ready to take that seat off. Today's task is to get that rear axle mounted to this somehow. So we're going to get in there and do some cutting, some tacking, some fitting, and see where we end up. So bear with me while I figure out a way of doing all of that. Bearing in mind I haven't done this before, so this is the first time. It's all trial and error, so you know what can go wrong will go wrong, and we'll take it from there and fix it as we go. Alright, let's go. Okay, so I've got it in a rough position of where I want it. Let's take a look at that. So yep, that's where I've got her, and that's where I think I'm going to have her. So I'm going to chuck some tacks there and there and on that side, and then see how she hangs, and then weld the whole thing up. Also, if you got any tips on this, yes, no, or whatever, check them down in the comments. Let me know if you've done this or something like this before. Then yeah, info will always be helpful. All right, guys, let me get back to this. Alright guys, so the rear axle is now welded in place. She is not going to go anywhere. We've got some nice welds in there. Nice. I don't know about nice looking, but we got some welds in there, and she's not going to go anywhere now. So I just need to flip it over and put some welds on the bottom, and that axle will be welded in place, and I'm done with that. Alright, next step. We have to figure out where I'm going to put this motor and where I'm going to mount it and all of that stuff. Yes! And because I cut the chain, we're going to have to get a new chain, but I'll try cleaning it, blah, 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 and trying to bring it back before I buy the new chain. Actually, I'll probably just buy a new chain. Once that's all welded in and mocked up, we start working on the top plate to mount the engine, and then working on placement for that and the chain. And then I can move on to the pedals and start feeding things through, like cables and wires, some more arms, levers, and brackets, just some stuff, just all the little stuff that you need to do, I guess. I'm going to pack it up for the night, and I'll be back in the morning and carry on with this build. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you haven't yet, please help our channel out, hit that like and subscribe button. Really be helping us out. Alright, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace!
What?